Welcome back to Magic Tarot Cards, y'all. This is part 3 of the P-Diddy situation. This is going to be about his thoughts and feelings and current thoughts and feelings and pretty much the ending. There'll still be more videos, but I can tell you right now what's going to happen. So remember, everything is alleged. This is a tarot card reading. Everything's alleged. And you can read the disclaimer box down below for all the other information. The cards are pulled because I have to, whenever I'm reading a high-profile person like that, I have to shuffle for at least 20 minutes. And as they fall, I go ahead and pull them. All right? I don't have space on my phone to videotape 20 minutes of shuffling. So the cards are pulled. If that bothers you, you don't have to watch. All right? So let's get started with the reading. So I asked about his current feelings, situations, and, where this is leading to. All right. Just, the current events for him. So the spirits are showing me right away his energy, which is the Five of Swords, of course. This is a person that's very manipulative. See how he's stealing the swords? He's smirking right here. He promises people. Now, remember, y'all, this is alleged. The information comes from Spirit and the cards, not from me, okay? Because I don't care one way or the other about him, and I have no thoughts of him. All right, so this comes from the cards. This is someone that promises peace and calm. Green represents peace and calm, but he doesn't deliver that because he's very controlling. He wants to control with his power of aggression and power that he has with money. Power, just the power of status quo that he has. So he tried many times to control, was doing very well in controlling for many years situations in his life. All right, so deep thought about that. He was in deep thought about that. That's the one main thing he concentrated in his life, is to have power and control over any situation and any any people, anything. All right. But then, as we know, it all came to a close. He was found out of all the allegations he's being accused of, which was an unexpected event for him. He didn't ever think that it was going to happen because he's been doing it for so many years and has gotten away with pretty much everything. So he didn't think that it was actually going to catch up to him. But remember, the truth always comes up. Truth always shows up. You can't hide the truth. And look what's underneath it. This is truth to be known, all right? So, excuse me. So the lightning bolt hits the tower and people fall to their demise, to their ending, to their depression. Blackest depression. They're falling to their end, okay? So that's what happened when he got arrested. Okay, and then this shows drugs, alcohol, people that are chained to each other and then chained to him. And this is basically was his I'm sorry, y'all, my throat. This was basically was his status. He was like this devil here. He was like, remember, this is alleged, he was like this devil controlling people with drugs and alcohol, okay? Having them chained, locked up, stuff like that. And this is what the police found out. Okay, so when the police found that out, what did it lead to? It lead to jail time. This is someone that's imprisoned away from their mansion. They're way over here in prison. Whenever you see, whenever you see the tarot barefoot in the water, that means poverty. No more money flowing in. Your money is disappearing fast, going, tied up, can't see your future, surrounded by prison. And now this doesn't only mean jail time, it can mean self-imprisonment too in your mind. And this is how he is in his mind as well. He's self-imprisoned in his mind. He keeps thinking he's going to get out, like on bail, because from what I understand is that he went in for a third time and they denied him again, that he had his own package. He presented a package of, I won't have women in my house, I'll give up my jet, and I'll give up this and that, and I'll pay this much money if they just let me out on bail. But guess what? The judge said no. Hold on, I'm going to get a tissue. Okay, y'all, allergies are really kicking in because, wintertime is coming. That's when I usually get allergies, in the fall. All right, so the judge said no, and that put him in a terrible, terrible, worst state of mind that he's ever been in his life. Is this third time around when the judge said no, you're not getting out, because he kind of thought he was when the judge, his lawyer presented this new package to them. They thought it up themselves. Between him and the lawyer, they thought up this package. I'll pay $50 million for this, and I won't use my jet, and I'll give up my jet, and I won't let no women come to my house, and this, that. But the judge said nope, nope, nope. Why? Because they looked at past patterns of him, the past shooting. In the past, he's paid off people. Now, I did hear, whether this is true or not, I did hear that when he was beating up that girl at the motel, that he paid the motel like $50 million to get rid of the videos, that was in the hall, when he was in the hallway or wherever he was, elevator, whatever, to beating her up. So the judges looked at all of that from the past, and that's how they determined the decision that he would be a flight risk. And the answer was no. And I already knew that ain't no one going to let him out on bail. There's no judge in the world that's going to let him out on bail, because they don't want to be ridiculed by the other judges. They all sit in a room together and eat. You think the judge is going to let them go, and then the other judges be like, man, what'd you do, So now this is him locked up, jail time, locked up, depression, praying. He's can't go on anymore. He feels like he just can't take another day. The jail is cramped. It's very cold. It's crowded, lots of crowded. There's people watching him from everywhere. There's some people praying for him. Some people want destruction for him. He's on suicide watch, and he's also in a place where he's away from the other people because he's a high profile, fear of people killing him. I'm not supposed to use that word. Or hurting him, or vice versa, him hurting himself or whatever. What I heard is the toilet. I have to mention this. The toilet there in prison only flushes 3 times a day. So however many times you pee, and then there's minutes in between it, so you can't flush it until the next time around that they let you flush it. So what if you poop? It has to stay there until the next time comes up that you can flush your toilet. Now, can you imagine that? Everybody using their toilets, and it has to stay there, and the smell of that until they're able to flush their toilets. This is what he's facing, things like that. Just horrible situation that he's in, but he did it to himself, You live by the sword, you die by the sword. And that's basically how life is. Don't ever think that in this lifetime that you're going to do something and get away with it, because karma always comes back around. And I stress this a lot all the time, whether your crime be big or small, whether you're a troll or not a troll, or doing this or that, whatever it is you're doing that's wrong, even in the smallest of measurements, karma comes back. Okay, karma comes back. Karma is real, and it comes back. You can be doing one tiny little thing to somebody else, but it comes back, and it comes back 3 times fold to you, because that's what's written in the Bible. That's God's word. That's his scripture. All right, so be careful what you do to other people, what you say, because it's going to come back. So the help he's been waiting on has not come. This is when you got help coming that's going to rescue you. The ships are sailing in. You create a brand new day, very passionate about this, but it has not come. Why? Because his attorneys aren't able to get him out. They're not able to bring this ship in and get him out. It's just not going to happen, because there's no judge on earth that's going to let him out. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so here's the truth. He was sneaky, conniving. These tents and here represent sexual activity, a lot of social sexual activity. Why? Because this is a card of the Egyptian times. And back in the day, the camels used to ride in with men, and they would stop at these tents, and there would be prostitutes in there, and they would have, sexual intercourse. So that's what that represents, and this is stealing everybody's energy, tiptoeing, saying, I'm going to bring you this glamour, I'm going to bring you this, that, but he never meant any of it. Just stealing people's energy, doing whatever he wanted to do. But now it's in the reverse. Why? Because truths came out. He left plenty of evidence. These 2 swords left behind represent evidence. He left so much evidence behind. So much. So now evidence pop up. This represents evidence that was found. Truths come out. This is the card of truth in the reverse when you're doing something bad. Before, he used to be like this magician here where he could manifest anything he wanted. And he did pretty good in his lifetime, manifesting whatever he wanted to do, even in that shooting that he had when he was involved with Ms. Lopez, that it suddenly disappeared. Okay, because he, according to the news, I'm not saying me, according to news, little reports that I've seen, that he paid somebody off, would pay people off to get out of trouble, or he most certainly had the money for it, So now he feels, now that this last third attempt, because it was the third attempt of trying to release him on bail, the answer was no. So now he feels all is lost. See, before he felt you lost something, but you still had hope because you have two cups in the upright. It's still sad and depressed, but you still had hope. Well, now hope is all gone. There's no more hope. There's no more nothing. So he is deep, deep, dark depression, crying in his bed, very sad, especially with the living conditions. This is him in prison, very sad, crying, imprisoned, very depressed. Can't believe that this is happening to him because he's the great P-Diddy. This is what the thoughts that go in his head. Oh, I'm the great P-Diddy. How did I end up here? How did this happen to me? But he doesn't take account for what he's done. This is the problem, okay? He doesn't admit what he's done. He's apologized, yes, but in all reality, he doesn't see his own truth. He doesn't take accountability for his actions. He might have did a apology video, but only because he was instructed by his lawyer to do that. And I know the lawyers do that. They'll say, go ahead and apologize because it'll make you look good and blah, blah, blah. But in all reality, that's not what he means, okay? I remember going to court a long time ago for child support with my little girl's father, which I'm no longer with because I left him years ago. I'm with a new person that I've been with for a long time now. But with her father, I took him to court for child support. And right away, he was like, oh, I just want to apologize to you and blah, blah, blah. Baloney. His attorney told him to do that in front of the judge in hopes that they would let, because he was in jail for non-payment of child support. And we had come up to court. And I knew that it was fake. It wasn't sincere because I know him. I've known him all my life, So I knew when his apologies were real and when they were fake. And I was like, baloney. He was like, oh, I'm so sorry, but baloney. So when it was my turn to speak, the judge asked me towards the end of the court, the judge asked me what I needed to say. And I said, well, I want to say baloney. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, his apology isn't real. It's not sincere. I said, his attorney had him do that. I said, I know him better than he knows himself. So no, that is not real. I don't accept his apology because I know him, like the back of my hand. And I said, what he needs is some type of supervision so he won't run off again and finish paying this child support, because child support was still due to me that he hadn't paid, because every time he'd get out of jail, he'd run off and not work or not report where he's working. So don't you know it took him 30 years to pay the child support that he was supposed to pay by the time she was 18? Took him 30 years. And when the big C hit, and we all got those stimulus checks, they took his stimulus check and gave it to me. So I ended up with 2 stimulus checks, mine and his, which equaled $4,000. So I ended up with $4,000 because he still owed me. And the government will take every penny you own to pay back that child support until it is paid. Well, they kept taking his money and, whatever. But it took him 30 years to pay what he should have paid when she was 18. My daughter's 35 years old. So at 30 years old, he finally finished paying it because they kept taking money. Anytime he would receive any type of money anywhere, they would take it and send it to me. Okay, so and the only reason I'm telling this story is because it's funny. Because this is how karma works, y'all. This is how karma works. So when that happened and I received his check, I was dancing in my shoes, man. I was so happy. I was like, oh, karma finally hit. Truths always come out. Karma always comes back. It's never going to miss you, okay? Karma does not miss you. It will hit you at any time, any place, no matter what you've done. Karma comes around, all right? Let that be a lesson to some of you. All right, so anyway, he's is sad, depressed. He is on suicidal watch because and not just that, not just suicidal watch, other people watching other people as well that might want to hurt him, or he hurt other people, or himself. So this is his status quo right now, is very, very deep. This is a deep, deep depression. This is a depression like he's never known, like he's never gonna feel in his life ever again. And I'm going to say this, I do feel like his demise will be in the prison cell, that he won't not ever make it out to the light. All right. And he has a chance now with God to repent, because he's done a lot of horrible things, but God still forgives. Okay. So if you're alive and you've done things, even bad things like he's done, God will still forgive you. The only sin God does not forgive is blasphemy. And that's when you speak against him and say there is no God or whatever. That's the sin he doesn't forgive. But you can murder somebody 7 times and he will forgive you 7 times. That's just an example. God is a very forgiving God, but you have to mean it in your heart. You have to truly be sorry for what you've done, and you have to truly change your life around, and you have to show God that in order for him to forgive you. So as long as he's alive, he still has a chance to redeem himself in the Lord's eyes, not in our eyes, because that's never going to happen. But he has a chance to redeem himself in God's eyes. And from this point on, that's what's most important, and that's what he needs to take heed of, not worry about what the public eye thinks of him, okay, because that's over. He needs to think about what God thinks about him and what's going to happen to him when he crosses over, because right now he's in fear of crossing over to this person here. If he don't redeem himself, not that he hasn't already, maybe he already has, he's going to end up right here next to this person, all right, and that's a bad place to be. So he still has a chance while he's alive, okay, and the final conclusion is the karmic cycle, debt has been paid. This is when an ending is coming, has come, the way of life is no longer living. This was what's coming up for him. In the reverse, it means the same thing, but it's permanent. The debt, the karmic cycle has come to a close. The debt has been paid, meaning that you've done what you did. The universe came and got you, and it's done. It's in. The way you were living is over. It will never be no more. You will never go back to your mansion. You will never go back to the women. You will never go back to being popular. It is done. It's over. It has come to a close. And this is something he's going to have to accept, because I don't see him getting out anytime soon. I do see him spending many, many years in prison if he doesn't cause his own demise, because that's what I'm seeing already. So this is going to be a lot for him. I feel like if he passes away, that it'll be from his own broken heart. He'll develop, how do you say, Spirit's trying to say something. Okay, Spirit. Okay, hold on, y'all. Spirit's trying to... They're trying to spit something out of my mouth. Congestive heart failure. There you go. Congestive heart failure. Why? Because when you're brokenhearted, sadness, it causes congestive heart failure. And then that'll be his demise if he don't do it himself. All right, y'all. That is it for now. This is part 3. Remember, this is alleged. This comes from the cards, Spirit, and my own psychic ability. I don't have no say-so about him one way or the other. I say whatever comes, come. Let karma come. Let karma deal with it. And God's will be done. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And remember, this video is my video. You do not have permission to copy it or use it for any reason, or my channel's name. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.